to the Knicks showing their fans that they're not going to give up. That was a really great performance last night as a Knicks fan. While it could have been frustrating at times, I have to say that this is why you go out and get Jalen Brunson. This is why you need to have a presence at point guard. We've been screaming about it for years. He's had a great season as the leader of the Knicks, and he's the unquestioned leader of the Knicks. He's tough. He's grizzled. He's got finesse. He's got ball handling skills, and I liken a point guard in the NBA is just like a quarterback. Although they have to play defense, the quarterback doesn't, and it's just the stress of making the right decisions, the stress of getting the ball to the open guy, the stress of taking it down the lane and being fearless. I mean, all of the things that encompass a great point guard and his play were on display and have been on display all year with Jalen Brunson. I think all of us Knicks fans, applaud the Knicks for scouting him last time this year. In their series, Dallas' series, and realizing that he had to be the guy that they got here. And, this is like one of the best free agent signings the Knicks have ever had. I don't care what anybody says.
Nobody's arguing with you, so you don't have to care about what anybody says because you're right. I mean, it's 100% one of the best free agent signings.
Because, being the older Knicks fan in the room and being somebody around who saw the great Walt Frazier and the great Earl the Pearl Monroe and guys that could actually handle the freaking basketball, this is finally, we have that type of player. And it's just amazing. Played all 48 minutes last night. He was out there with Quentin Grimes for 48 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's going to work out, Friday night. But let's face it, they won the second quarter. And Julius Randle was sitting on the bench, and they won the second quarter. They finally won it. They also had a major discrepancy in free throw attempts. And now some of these free throws came at the end of the game when they were hacking Mitchell Robinson, and he dropped 3 of those free throws, so that was good. The Miami Heat, just had an awful shooting night, absolutely awful, and they had wide open threes, by the way.
Yeah, well, every single game in this series.
Well, what is this league?
It's a make or miss league.
That's exactly right. But I just think that the Knicks showed their fans something. They showed their fans that they had backbone. They gave them what all of these Knicks fans really wanted last night, and that was a performance where they were going to stick into this thing and they were going to win. They were going to fight to the end, and they were not going to give up. Now, I can only hope that Friday night, that somehow, some way, Miami goes cold. They probably won't.
Yeah.
But the Knicks are going to have to continue to play tough, rebounding defense, second chance points, all of that kind of crap still has to play a major role in them getting a Game 7 back at the Garden.
Yeah, I mean, all the things that you saw from the Cavs series were back on display last night. Contributions from just about everybody, offensive and defensive rebounds, all the things that you have for a Knicks winning formula happened last night. And are they capable of doing that again in Miami? Sure they are. It's going to be very difficult, but it was a big part of this was the Knicks being able to hit those threes when they needed to. And in the second quarter, Miami missing a ton. Now, in the fourth quarter, they almost came all the way back because they were canning 3 after 3 after 3. But the fact that they got hit with all that adversity in the first quarter, were down 10 after 1 in their building with the Garden silent at that point, basically thinking that they were going to watch an elimination night. And to come out in the second quarter and do what they did was really, really impressive. And, it makes you proud of this team that's the way they responded. And by the way, like in the first quarter, if you were someone who is watching this from a Knicks perspective or you bet on the Knicks, you're thinking, is Tim Donaghy on this crew? Because this is ridiculous. 3 straight offensive fouls called on them. Josh Hart.
Way too many fouls called in this game.
Yeah, right. And it just was so stop and start in the first half, especially in the first quarter. And then the Josh Hart, Jimmy Butler play. You're telling me that's a flagrant foul and like an out-of-control closeout or whatever the official said there? I mean, Jim Jackson last night doing the game with Iron Eagles, like they're going to go look at this and reverse the call. Like that's what he thought because Jimmy Butler kicks his leg out and he said they're going to reverse the call. And then Iron's like, I don't know, they might actually change this to a flagrant.
Well, I mean, you look at this. Jimmy Butler starts his shot behind the three-point line.
Right.
Josh Hart is inside the three-point line.
Yep.
Josh Hart comes down inside the three-point line. Jimmy Butler comes down inside the three-point line. So who is the one that is moving towards the other player. It's Jimmy Butler.
Right. Exactly.
And he does the kick out thing.
Right. Yeah.
Like that they're talking about, like this whole kick out thing. And how they call that a flagrant foul is like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, to me, I was like, wow. I mean, do they really want the Knicks out? You wouldn't believe that they would, but it's like, does the NBA want the Knicks out the way that this is going? Is this crew really hate Julius Randle that much because he's been yelling at them? I mean, what is going on? I mean, the 3 straight offensive fouls and then that. I'm surprised the Knicks didn't get a tech at that point. I mean, they stayed pretty calm. I mean, you saw Josh Hart take his headband off and walk away and basically walk towards the locker room because he didn't want to go and get a technical foul. But that was insane what was going on officiating-wise. And I actually do think that the Knicks fans had a gripe there. Normally that's an excuse, that's something that people throw out, but it did feel like it was very, very slanted the Heat way during the first half of the game, but they overcame that too. So it was.
And by the way, again, their other best player other than Jalen Brunson was R.J. Barrett.
Yeah.
I mean, there are times where when he is on, the ball's not even touching the rim. It's like,
yep.
And, he has played, I don't care what anybody says. He's another one. I'm going to say I don't care what anybody says because I know everybody's been on his ass.
Right.
Right. He's played really well. I mean, both defensively and offensively, and he was one of the big reasons again. I mean, look, they had a great team effort last night, and like we were talking about, Grimes and Brunson played 48 minutes. But when RJ was going to the basket, when RJ had the open 3-point shots, he was hitting them.
Yes, he was. And when that is happening, this team is on another level. When he is clanging those threes and he loses his confidence and he stops going to the basket and then he gets to the free throw line occasionally and he doesn't make those. I mean, yeah, then he turns into a negative and a minus player, as opposed to a guy who can take this team to the next level. And just one thing, because you mentioned Quentin Grimes, is the fact that he played 48 minutes, great. He also, bangs himself up, turns his ankle, is grimacing in pain, and is on Jimmy Butler in a key possession in the fourth quarter and still gets a steal.
Yeah.
Right? That right there was, you want to talk about Knicks basketball and the things we asked for and the great Knicks teams and toughness. That was one of those moments last night where you're like, all right, this kid, we got to keep this kid around. We got to give him as many minutes as he's willing to play, and it was every single one of them last night.
All right, so we're going to give Jalen Brunson an A+. Yeah, he's an A+ the whole year. Even when he's had bad games, he's always stood up behind the microphone and said, I got to play better. It's all about me, even when his numbers don't reflect what he is saying.
Yeah.
He is clearly the leader of the team. There is no question about that. I'm going to give Grimes, because he played 48 minutes, I'm going to give him an A. And he played defense. He had a couple key early threes. Mm-hmm. He played really well. I'm going to give R.J. Barrett, I'm going to give him an A, almost an A+, because I thought he played exceptionally well. What do you think about Mitchell Robinson? How did he play last night in your eyes?
Oh, I thought he was so much better than the game before, and I thought he was, I'm not going to say great, but he had put together a winning game, very, very good. And when the strategy was foul Mitchell Robinson because he's a below 50% free throw shooter, he was there and he made those free throws. So I thought he was so much better than the previous game.
So a B+, maybe. I mean, a B+ type of player,
sure.
and showed really good effort on the defensive side and was getting rebounds.
Yeah, so there was something about that energy. There was something about that want to that they had talked about in Game 4 because they came out with a different purpose last night. Right. There was no two ways about it.
And we were also talking about, okay, what kind of line did we want from Mitchell Robinson? So we got 11 rebounds.
Yeah.
Right? We had a couple steals. Mm-hmm. He didn't have any blocks. He only had 2 turnovers. And he was a +12, and he had 8 points. So that's kind of like what you want from him.
Sure.
All right. So Julius Randle, what kind of game did he have?
Oh, man. I can't stand watching him play. Like, he didn't cost them the game in the late minutes, and he hit that 3 at the end of the first half as the buzzer was going off. And by the way, the Knicks were -1.5 on the first half line.
Yeah.
Julius Randle hits that 3 at the buzzer.
That was
crazy.
A great shot, by the way.
Yeah, so there was a couple of good moments, but really, to me, the only reason why the Knicks offense got going good well enough to win this game was when he was off the floor. So to me, I'll give him a C+ at best, and that might be kind.
5 rebounds, 5 assists. He had 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
Those are the things that kill you. He did have 24 points. He had a decent game, and he had a decent shooting game.
But I think we need to look beyond the box score with Julius Randle.
He played
beyond
36 minutes. He didn't play, 42 minutes. He played 36 minutes.
Right.
Because Obi Toppin got a little bit more run. What did you think of his performance?
Yeah, I thought he was good, and I think he bounced back after getting essentially benched in Game 4 for. And the other thing about Julius Randle too that we tend to forget because we focus on the offense. First play of the game gets blown by in the defensive end. First play. So after seeing him towards the end of the game, in Game 4, get blown by Caleb Martin, Julius Randle, first Heat possession, once again, traffic cone. So that's something we don't talk about enough, him on the defensive end. But anyway, Obi Toppin, I thought, bounced back. Wasn't a huge factor in the game, but was a factor and made contributions and winning contributions last night. So, yeah, I mean, he was a guy that very easily could have gone into a hole after getting glued to the bench in Game 4. So I thought that he bounced back and gave, a little bit in this winning performance, more than a little bit in the winning performance. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
I thought the guy who didn't play all that great and has played good since he got here was Josh Hart. For some reason, he didn't want to shoot last night.
Well, he also got 3 fouls early.
But he just didn't want to shoot. A couple times he had open shots, and for some reason he didn't want to shoot.
That's fair. Yeah, you're right. Especially there in the first quarter, there was one where he was wide open. I remember and thinking I've seen him pull the trigger on that.
And he gave the ball to Julius Randle.
Yeah. And Julius, I mean, it was just the isolation, the bouncing of the ball and the back to the basket and then turning around and then having a guy in his face and forcing up a shot or turning the ball over because he gets double teamed. He doesn't know what to do. It's just infuriating. And then he goes on the bench, and then here they are, up and down the court. Bang, bang, bang. Extra pass, open 3, alley-oop. It's like...
It looks like a completely different team, I know.
I mean, I know it hasn't been always like that when he's been out. And he obviously didn't play in Game 1 in this series, and they ended up losing that game. So, I mean, I know he's a factor. I know he's important, but, I mean, there are times when he is out where this team is energized. They're moving, they're flowing, they're fast, they're interesting. And it's really something to think about going forward. And it's something to think about Friday night, too, if you're Tom Thibodeau, really. I mean, they're struggling. This was that stretch without him was the best they've looked offensively in this series, hands down, not even close. And they were grinding out points this entire series.
The second quarter was unbelievable. They started, 4 for 4? I mean, and in the previous games, they have not played well in the second quarter.
No.
And this time they did. And, again, Jalen Brunson never came off the floor.
They also played great in the third quarter, which is something that this Tom Thibodeau teams with the Knicks, since he's gotten here, has been a thorn in their side. These third quarters usually get blown out in the regular season. We've seen a lot of that, and they played great in the third quarter as well. So,
I mean, do you realize the pressure that Jalen Brunson is under and how he's handling it?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's... I can't say enough about this guy. I really can't. If he leads them to victory and plays 48 minutes again on Friday night, which I think is going to be a tall order for them. It's going to be a tall order for them. I want to be realistic about that.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the effort last night, and we saw the effort. And I thought it was part of it was Miami wasn't hitting their open shots. The Knicks had a huge discrepancy in free throws, but for all intents and purposes, it was a Jalen Brunson, we ain't losing this game tonight.
Yeah.
That was, and for any fan of any team, and especially here in New York, that's the performance that you're looking for from your superstars. That guy came up huge, and he's been huge. He's been huge all year. Man, he was great last night.
He was. I mean, I would like for him during the game when they're up 19 to be able to get a breather.
You know what I felt like? I felt like he was Devin Booker. I felt like that's what he's been since he's been here.
Yeah.
But that guy has got the ball in his hands almost every possession. The intensity and the pressure that is on him to make the right decision. And, Miami's trying to keep the ball away from him. Yeah. They're trying to pressure him. They're trying to make him use as much energy as possible. And he just, from start to finish, he was so consistent and so relentless and never came off the court. If you're the coach, aren't you I got to get this guy a blow?
Well, how about being up 19? How about that's the time? But they didn't, because he was probably thinking the second he gets off the court, Miami's going to make a run, and this is an elimination game. An elimination game, the guy's got to play 48 minutes. And guess what? Friday's another elimination game, and if they are going to win that one, then Monday's another elimination game. So he might play every single minute the rest of the series. which is a little bit concerning. I mean, it is, because it's also, if he doesn't do that, they don't win.
And it's not like he's not playing intense basketball. I mean, it is intense, especially against the opponent that you're playing.
I mean, I hope he sleeps 20 hours today. Yeah. Honestly, don't get out of bed. Do whatever you got to do.
Oh, they got to
rest.
go to Miami.
Hyperbaric chamber. Yeah, well, obviously, they probably flew out maybe last night. I mean, they might have done it right after the game. Just do whatever you got to do to rest. Just cold tub, hot tub, whatever. Just sleep as much as humanly possible.
Thanks so much for watching the video.
Please like and subscribe.
And don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when we're dropping new content.